It's sports time with Chris, and today we have breaking news. The Utah Hockey Club is no longer. It is officially the Utah Mammoth, and it is very exciting for this team to finally have a team name and have an identity. And, I've heard rumors over the last week or so about the team name starting to become official. There was a whole thing with YouTube where the YouTube channel was called Utah Mammoth or something like that. It was changed. So there have been some little leaks and rumors floating about, but now it's officially official. And I have to say that it is really exciting. I enjoy, for the most part, everything they've done, from the primary logo to the secondary logo to all the other things associated with building a brand. And one thing about Ryan Smith is with his building of brands, they tend to be a little bit on the simple, he likes to keep them pretty simple. And I think that's a good thing. A good logo to me is something that's simple but not lazy. And I think that's really where they knocked it out of the park with these designs. But yeah, I talked about this a while ago, how I changed my mind. I originally did not like the name Mammoth because I thought it should be plural and it should be, technically correct. And the fact that it is not plural does bother some people, which I think this argument is completely valid. It's not just a singular mammoth, blah, 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 all the same arguments that I made. But the reason why I think it is so effective to have that is because it makes it feel a little bit bigger, right? It feels like it's a collective thing. This whole team is one collective mammoth. The arena, the fans, they're one collective. I think it works very, very well. And then mammoth is used to describe things, right? This is a mammoth undertaking we have. It just makes tasks seem much bigger than they might be. And I just think it's very well done. A little bit of a critique on the logo. First of all, what I'll say about the logo is that I think it is good. I think it could have been a little bit better. To me, it is what I like about it. It's simple. It's got the mountains integrated into it. It's got the Utah state shape hidden within the logo. I think that's pretty awesome. The only thing about it is it looks a little bit more like an elephant than a mammoth to me. Of course, there are some mammoths that aren't as hairy. And so, I don't know. It looks a little bit more elephant-like to me. But all in all, I'm happy with it. And I am so ready to buy some merch now that they have an identity and they can build off that. I think it's huge. And then they have the secondary logos, which include the Utah with the U, with the tusk integrated into the U. And then, of course, the singular letter U with the tusk integrated into it. I think that is just a really simple, clean design without being overly lazy. There are some graphics that just get way too simple. And to me, when I see this, it's nice because it looks very different from the University of Utah. The color scheme is obviously different, and then the font that they used cannot be easily confused with that. And it's just really simple. It's literally, they just took the inside part of the Mammoth logo and threw it on a U. So effective, it keeps everything clean, and it all matches, which is awesome. Then they have just the plain Utah Mammoth fonts, which I think are clean. Again, they use the same color scheme as Utah Hockey Club. And I really do think they made the right decision last season by not picking the name right away, going through the whole process. And they chose the colors very well right from the beginning. Now, it would have been, if they had gone with a different name, I don't know if this color scheme would have matched as well, but with the Mammoth, I think it works great. And then, of course, the last little logo they have is they took the diagonal Utah font that they had last season on the front of their uniforms. They threw that on the state of Utah outline, and then they put a little puck on there. I think it's simple, it's clean. That's going to be a patch on the jerseys, which is awesome. And overall, graphically, color scheme wise, there's nothing to complain about. So a while ago, I recorded an episode about my experience at my first Utah Hockey Club game, and I actually recorded it twice. The first time I recorded it, I didn't release it because it just got a little outdated pretty quickly because it was right at the end of the season when they were fighting for a playoff spot. And so I decided to scrap it and try it again. Second time I recorded it, I had I had a very long recording, maybe 30 to 40 minutes. And I went back to listen to it, and I realized I had the wrong microphone connected. And so it did not sound up to the standard that I wanted it to sound like. So I just put that on the back burner, and I'm going to tell that story here in just a second for the third time. But now that we have a lot of updates, I can kind of integrate those into the story. And the first thing that I talked about is the Delta Center renovation. Now, this was announced a little while ago. Well, it wasn't announced. We all knew it was happening. But what the Delta Center is going to look like after the renovation. There was a whole video put out about what they're planning to do. And what I really like about that is the Delta Center was built for basketball, right? And it's not like most arenas where this one, like the Delta Center is more vertical than horizontal. Like it goes straight up. It is literally like you're inside a mountain in there. And I don't know if you've ever walked up the stairs at the Delta Center, but especially up in the nosebleed section, it's like, I might tumble. And if you tumble down those stairs, you're tumbling for a while. And so it was really built for basketball viewing, not built for hockey at all. And so they have their plans to raise the floor up a little bit and then have retractable seating that will make it basketball and hockey friendly. And they're also increasing the capacity of the crowd, which is awesome. That was one thing that I was really concerned about, was if they were going to be able to keep the integrity of the arena, to keep the capacity. And honestly, capacity-wise, it's going to be pretty close to some of the other NBA arenas. I don't remember the name of the Cleveland Cavaliers arena, but I just looked at their capacity, and it's like 19,000 something. The Lakers arena is like 20,000. So we'll be increasing the capacity, which is awesome. The sightlines will be improved. So there will be no more single goal view seats. So that's a mouthful. And so that was one thing for sure that I was really hoping for, so that they could keep the integrity, because if you've ever been to a Jazz game, when they're good, you know how crazy that crowd gets. And I think a lot of that is because of how the arena was built. A lot of credit to Utah fans. They go hard, definitely. But the way the arena was built definitely helps, just like the Seattle Seahawks stadium. It was built to create loud sounds and to keep the loud sounds within the stadium. And so it's just exciting to see that going down. That was one thing that I talked about, is just how the renovations would change things for the better, and it seems like it will. And I don't think concerts will be affected by it too much. So good to know that. Along with that, they did announce, I think part of the Salt Palace will be renovated or torn down to make room for sports complex. That way they can kind of shut down that road and have sports parties and things like that. So, from a sports fan perspective, I think that is awesome. It'll be an experience to go downtown. When you go to the Delta Center, they have some good food options inside, but it can be pricey. Sometimes it's cheaper to go out and go somewhere else downtown for a quick bite. And so having those sports bars in that area and just having that sports town atmosphere is going to be really cool, because Utah is very quickly becoming a sports town. I feel like it always has been, but now we're getting professional sports. Things are in motion. There are rumors about a baseball team coming to Utah, a professional baseball team. The Salt Lake Bees just built a new stadium that apparently is off the chain. I need to get out to a game. RSL was just bought out by the Miller Foundation. So a lot of exciting things. The only thing about the Salt Palace being bought out is it is unfortunate for a lot of people who go to the Salt Palace for different conventions and things like that. I've heard that a lot of them are unhappy that it's going to be a sports bar, because not everyone is into sports. And Salt Palace is one of a few places that holds conventions like, I don't even know, FanX, Comic-Con, things like that. I don't participate in those events. They're not my specific interest, but I know a lot of people are into those things, and so hopefully they can find a solution for that. But as a sports fan, it's very exciting, because Utah is a sports community, honestly, from Little League football to baseball to soccer. There are so many parks and sports going on all the time. And now there are going to be a lot more hockey rinks, according to Ryan Smith. There was someone who posted some concerns concerns about there not being enough hockey rinks in Utah. I don't know how many there are. I think there might be just a handful. And so the fact that they want to build some more is really cool too. And having a professional hockey team, I think, will help kids be a little bit more into that, because hockey growing up for me just wasn't super popular. I think my high school had a hockey team. I knew a couple guys who played on it, but besides that, I didn't know anyone else that played hockey growing up. So let's get into my experience at my first ever hockey game. It was also my daughter's, who's a year old. My wife had been to some Grizzlies games, I believe. And then along with them, we invited my brother and his girlfriend. And for my brother, it was his first hockey game. And his girlfriend, Lily, it was his or her first professional sports game, I believe. So really a lot of firsts for everyone, which was exciting. And it was such a good time. We got there and a little bit early, and it was a little chilly outside, but we were waiting for my brother, who had to go pick up his car from the dealership because of recalls, fun adult stuff. And so we walked around inside and checked out the team store a little bit. Everything was very pricey, I'll have to say. Very, very pricey, but the one thing I was looking for wasn't available, unfortunately. I saw they sold these pucks for each game. Just had the Utah Hockey Club logo and then the opposing team logo, the date, inaugural season. They didn't have them, unfortunately, but it was an experience. Hockey in person is just so fun, and the game really seemed to be pretty fast. We went to the game where they played the Buffalo Sabres, I believe. Yeah, Buffalo Sabres. It was just a good time, man. We took advantage of the really awesome thing they did with the Smiths ticket deals, and I think it was such a great, affordable option for them to do that. There was such demand for tickets, even though some of them were partial view, so you could only see one goal. You could only fully see one goal. But, because there was such high demand, they decided to sell the tickets, but not at full price, and not even it was $10 per ticket if you bought them through Smiths. I believe they did deals for students, maybe first responders. I don't remember who all got access to these deals, but it was the one way we were able to afford the tickets that we got, and it came with a hot dog and meal, which was really, really cool. By the way, that system they had that down to a science. We went out to they had a specific concession stand where they gave out the free hot dog and drinks. And when we first went out there, I thought we were going to stand in that line forever. I thought it would be like a regular concession stand where you can order what you want and then you just show them, your phone for the ticket and drink. But yeah, the line was crazy long. I thought we would be there for at least 20 minutes, but it went really fast. It was really surprising, and they had a system. You just went, scanned your phone, walk down, grab your hot dog and drink, condiments, and you're out of there. So we were in line for really not very long at all. It was during one of the first intermission. But yeah, that was really cool to see. And somewhere in line, that's when I overheard something about it. This ticket deal being for students, first responders, and I don't know who else. So props to them for, first of all, making those tickets and seats available and affordable. I think it was really fair considering that they were partial view seats. But with the new renovations, those won't be a thing anymore. So we'll see if tickets are... We'll see how ticket prices look next season. Hopefully they're not too crazy, but I'd love to make it out to another game. It was tons of fun. My daughter, who we don't post her face on social media or online just because we want to protect her and protect her identity. Plus, she's too young to give us permission to do that. So we just don't. Yeah, she was up on the TV screen multiple times. Just because she was dancing, she was having a good time. It took her a minute to warm up to her. We had headphones that we bought for her a while ago that are supposed to be noise canceling and help protect her ears from the loud arenas. So it took her a minute to get used to those, but eventually she was super happy and just dancing. There was a dude with a really big mohawk right behind me who she kept staring back at. The guy next to me, she kept touching his shoulder and trying to grab him. But it was so much fun. fun. So much fun to bring her, and got to take advantage of all the kids 2 and under, 3 and under deals that places have while she's young enough, because once we have to start paying for her tickets too, it'll be nice to have her own seat. Of course, we don't have to hold her the whole time, but yeah, that was so incredibly fun. We got to see really everything as far as hockey goes. My wife said that out of all the sporting events that she's ever gone to, that this was the most fun she had at one. And the only thing we didn't really get to see was a fight. Growing up, whenever people did talk about hockey, I heard about how important fighting was in hockey and that it pretty much happens every game, but evidently that's not entirely the case. Or I don't know how often people fight in hockey, but it's not every game. The one thing my wife was kind of obsessed with was the whole thing that they do, and you see this in soccer sometimes, where they'll pull their goalie to try and get a goal. You try to get an offender into the game to try. It's a very desperate move. So we saw Buffalo do that a few times, where they pulled their goalie in exchange for another attacker, and unfortunately for them, they had 2 open net goals. Sorry, I'm still learning hockey. I'm still getting used to all the terminology and all of that. So bear with me, but she was really obsessed with that because the score, I don't even remember what it was. It was like 3-1, and they pulled their goalie, and then it was 4-1, and then 5-1, and it just kept going up and up. Something like that. I don't remember the final score, but my wife thought that was really, really cool. And Mark and Lily had a good time. It was just a lot of fun, and I definitely want to make it out to another game next season. One of my biggest complaints about this whole experience, it was actually the only complaint I had was, and it's not even a Utah Hockey Club related thing really, was the whole parking situation downtown. It was nuts. There's a parking lot that I used to like parking at. Used to be $20 right across from the arena, and this time around it was $40. Literally, it was the same cost as all 4 tickets that we bought. So I was like, I'm not spending $40 for parking. We drove down a little bit more, and so we had a little bit of a walk, but my max I wanted to spend on parking was $20, and so that's what we did. And with the new renovation, they're planning on putting a parking garage attached to the Delta Center. They did say that one's going to take a few more years, which makes sense. It's not, when you're constructing a whole parking garage, that's going to take a lot more time than an interior of an arena where they're just putting in, raising the floor a little bit and putting in the retractable seats, which are, I didn't even mention this. This is going to be a very unique, first of its kind seating arrangement that the arena is going to have. And I highly recommend going and checking that video out. They do a way better job explaining all that than I ever could. But it's really cool. It's exciting. And man, I'm just excited to see Utah grow as a sports community, sports town. And with the new team name, they have the opportunity to really build their brand and to build an identity. That was something that I noticed was missing when we went to the game this last season. There wasn't a whole identity. It was Utah Hockey Club, sure. And if they decided to go with that name, they could have easily, they could have kept building off of that. But with the Mammoth, you have this creature that can become sort of the main focus of all your graphics. There are so many things you can do. There are the Ice Age memes, Ice Age clips you could potentially work into the arena. In the introduction video to the Mammoth, they had some facts about the mammoth and mammoths in Utah, where they have been found, kind of the background behind that, which is really cool. So just having random facts about mammoths would be really awesome. And they can really just build an identity, build a culture for what the Utah Mammoth is. Because I definitely felt like that was missing last year. They can come up with chants. They can come up with a rallying cry, which apparently it's tusks up. It doesn't roll off the tongue very well, in my opinion. It's not my favorite, but you know what? It's not horrible either. So it's an exciting time. I am so much more prepared to buy merch now. My wife, when we were at the team store, she kept urging me to buy some. I have one Utah Hockey Club sweater that my brother and his girlfriend got me for Christmas, and that is awesome, and I'm very glad I have that. But going forward, it will be nice to be able to buy stuff with the official name. Like that'll be one of a kind. It'll be the original team name with the original logo and all that, which is awesome. And from a nostalgia factor, that's really cool. But now that there's an established identity, then that's kind of what I want to roll with. So definitely gonna look at some merch. There's one shirt that I've been wanting to buy for a while, but I didn't want to until the name was official. It's from the Clean Hits hockey podcast. They have this Mammoth Club t-shirt with a mammoth playing hockey on it. That is so cool, and I might buy it for myself for my birthday. I mean, my birthday's in a couple of weeks, so that might be my birthday gift to myself. No, but really exciting things. I haven't even talked about the draft. The NHL, I don't know how the NHL draft works, but apparently Utah has a 4th overall pick, which is cool considering they had a pretty good season last year, and they have a lot of, I don't think they call it cap room, but they have a lot of money to spend potentially on free agents and all that. So really exciting. Things are looking up for the hockey club. I think they're going to be a force next year to be reckoned with. I saw a report where it might have been on ESPN or somewhere else where they described Utah as the best up-and-coming team. So meaning, while they didn't make the playoffs this year, in the next year or two, you can see them really become a force just with the roster that they currently have, any additions that they make, drafts, all of that. So things are just really exciting for the Utah Mammoth, and it is nice to finally have this team name official. And yeah, that's gonna do it. So thank you for listening today. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Do you like the team? Do you like Utah Mammoth? What was your, if not, what was your first choice? What are some of the names that you wanted to see? Personally, I really liked Outlaws. I thought Outlaws was a good one, but I honestly like this decision a lot. Oh, and one thing I didn't even mention was, of course, when you buy hockey jersey, first of all, they're crazy expensive. The official ones are, at least. I think they're like $200, which is quite a bit more than an NFL jersey. But what I like that they did was with the white away uniforms, they basically kept those the same. I think they're adding maybe a patch or two on it, but they have the diagonal Utah text on it, and I think that was a really good move. Now, the only thing I want to see as far as a uniform change is the addition of what's the blue? The blue has a very specific name. I'm trying to find it real quick. Mountain blue is what they call it. I want to see a mountain blue uniform sometime soon. Besides that, I think the uniforms look great, especially in person. Seeing them up there close and personal, they look good on TV. They look even better in person. So anyway, that's besides the point. Thanks again for listening. We'll see how much Utah Hockey Club, or now I'm used to that name, how much Utah Mammoth talk I do. I've just realized that I'm crazy busy, and then once football starts up, it's all I do is 49ers. So hopefully I can talk about them a little bit more as we go. But if not, then bear with me. Anyway, thanks again for listening. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. This has been Sports Time with Chris.